with an exciting episode of All In Podcast with your host, Sega4eva, and me, E-Bot. It's been a while, but we're going to try to do something different with a very, very special guest that has really been on the scene, but hasn't been seen well enough, if that makes any sense to you, the audience. But it will. You'll see. And that special guest is the Segaman from YouTube, which is an absolute honor to have him on. Segaman, please introduce yourself.
Hey everybody, this is Segaman 101. What's up? How's everybody doing?
Short and sweet, you see? Short and sweet. Very effective. I like that. I like that. And my brother from another console, Sega4eva, introduce yourself.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Sega4eva here, Xbox All In channel on YouTube. Good to be here.
See? Another one. These guys, you can't stop making them talk. I mean, it's amazing. It's not like they're not like me that I just talk away. These guys are experts at masters of their craft, if you will. So, guys, it's so good to have you on, especially on the on the acts since we've finally just had so much to soak in with E3 just passing by this past week and weekend, and it's a lot of things that I've been talking about, a lot of things that have been going on within the gaming community. But this episode, we're going to do something a little different, especially since we had some really amazing, unexpected announcements to a certain extent, and certain things that were very retrofied and nostalgic, if you will, for guys like myself and Segaman and Sega4eva, because we're old school. We come from the gaming roots of the Atari and television and the Odyssey and things of that nature. So what we're going to talk about is a topic that a lot of people have been, really may not know how to tackle correctly and from different angles, because they don't play or maybe haven't played a lot of games like we have and know a lot of retro stuff, which is the argument that's been going on for the last, I would say, since the beginning of the generation, which is basically why so many remasters. And to a lot of extent, yes, I can completely agree why so many remasters have come out this generation, especially when a lot of the games seem to be cross-platform, meaning they weren't very different in comparison to some real remasters that we've encountered on the 360 era, like Fable Anniversary or the remaster of Halo 1, which is what I call, or what we like to call, remasters done right. So the title of this stream, which is a podcast / stream, is When Remasters Make Sense. So, with that being said, I want to start with Segaman because he's the special guest. And I'm hosting for my brother Sega4eva, for those of you that are wondering, because he feels more comfortable when I'm here. And that's okay, because it's always an honor and a privilege for me to do it. So, Segaman, how are you?
Hey man, what's going on?
Doing good, I hope.
So,
So,
you hear me?
yeah, Segaman, quick question.
Yeah, you
So-
hear
Yeah, I hear you perfect. You sound great. For example, Segaman, you see how lately especially with this past E3, we had some big bombshells come in, like Resident Evil 2. They just big bombshell surprise of they're going back to making a new Battletoads for the Xbox One in the old traditional style with obviously updated graphics, and things like like we just had with with the Shadows of the Colossus, and even Gears of War Ultimate, and Gears of War Ultimate. How do you feel when you do a compare and contrast with something that's really remastered correctly, like a Gears Ultimate and Shadows, or like something like Activision likes to usually tend to do, where it's just a straight port with maybe a higher resolution that could be done with just a simple upscale. But instead they go out and charge you $60 for the same game you bought in the 360 era and even the PS3. How do you feel about it?
I think it's might be good for some people. Might not never experienced that before. Yeah, I mean, first time players that maybe have never played those games. But I have the Sega Genesis collection on the 360,
Right.
and it's pretty good. And so when they came out with this new one, I think that's fine, and they did add stuff to it that might not be previously on this the last one they had for the 360. But I just don't see buying those games over again, because I also have them digitally on my Xbox One S also. So I just think it's a little too much of the same thing over again. You know, with some of these remasters, like Gears of War Ultimate. Now that was really worth buying. You know what I mean? Because it added, you know, the Brumach in there and different boards that weren't in the games that were in the PC version, but not in the original.
Right.
So, yeah, that was really worth buying. But, you know, this, I might get it like on a sale, like when it comes down to maybe like $15 or something like that. But it's just, I don't see getting that right now. You know what I mean? Because most of those games I already have.
Right.
Except for, I think, Alien Soldiers on there. I never played that, and I heard that game is very expensive to get. And it's, I think it's, is it from Britain, England? Alien Soldier?
I think you're right. Well, they have Alien Soldier, they have Alien Storm, Alien Syndrome. But yeah, I think you're right. I know which one you're talking about. Alien Soldier. Yeah, I know exactly which one you're talking about.
It's very expensive. I've seen it for a lot of money.
I believe it's a treasure game from the guys who did, oh my God, Gunstar Heroes, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. I believe it's on the Mega Drive.
Yes.
You know.
It was a European release.
I do own a Mega Drive.
Yeah, I know you do. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's a good point, and I'm glad that you actually brought up that the Genesis remaster, or the Genesis quote-unquote collection for the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, obviously, that was just released recently. Yeah. Because I was really looking forward to it, and I was really hype about it because, you know, it had great little features like, you know, obviously 4K capabilities, widescreen, online co-op, the same as local, and, you know, things of that nature. And for the viewers, we're playing Panzer Dragoon Orta in the background via the Xbox One's backwards compatibility. And this is an Xbox OG game for those of you who may or may not know. And there's a reason for why I'm playing it.
Great game.
Well, yeah, absolutely. There's a reason for why I'm playing it, and we'll talk about it as we go along with the stream, obviously. So at Sega Man, like I was trying to say, it's fantastic that you brought that up, because the Sega Genesis collection, even though I believe it did not support online play, to be honest with you, is doing circles around the new one, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the reasoning for why I say that is because it added an option where it said secret unlockables, right? And in the secret unlockables that they had, you were able to actually unlock hidden arcade classics, right?
Yeah.
And they even included a Sega Saturn title, which was Golden Axe the Duel, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so when I'm looking at the new one that they were talking about, the first thing I kept hitting Sega up on Twitter and kept telling them, listen, do these have hidden arcade games? And the way they worded it, they made it seem like they did, but I've seen countless reviews on the game, and everyone that asked that question and tackles that question keeps saying that for what they see, the game doesn't seem to have any type of unlockables. And that really is where it kind of, no, it didn't kind of, it completely turned me off. Because I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah.
They put new Mega Drive releases. And don't get me wrong, it's great because they have some in there that are really good hidden gems, like Wonder Boy and Monster Lair, that was an arcade game that was never released, right? In any console except Mega Drive, but it was obviously a port. And then later on, they released a version of it in the TurboGrafx CD, right? And it was almost an arcade port, perfect port, but it was never brought out to like any Sega console itself, although it was a Sega title, or Sega arcade classic, right? So it kind of got me mad because at the time I had to get a Sega, a TurboGrafx CD just to get that game,
Yeah.
And it was barely released. It was like you had to kind of import it because it never really released with an American release, right? As far as I know.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad you brought that up because that's a very perfect, almost flawless example of things that they've been doing. And that's why I feel that kind of Sega's lost its way in many ways and don't really get and understand the real fans, the real hardcore audience that's been there since the beginning, since the arcade, since the Master System, since the Sega S1000, which was released before then, which was the birthing of what became later the Mach 3, which is the third version of the Sega S1000, right? Which is basically the Sega Master System. And in America, when the Master System came out, people don't really realize that it was actually the third version of that console that was amped up. They made them beefier for better colors and quality and sound. And it was out before the Sega Nintendo, which was the Famicom. It actually existed before that console, but it was only in Japan, obviously, because they were looking for, an American publisher, which they couldn't find one because they wanted to Americanize it and give it an American flavor, even though it was Japanese. And lo and behold, Tonka was the one that did it for them, right? So I'm glad you brought that up. And it sucks because, I feel that right now, this very moment, as you can see by obviously evidence, that Capcom is killing it. Because Capcom started doing it by doing one thing that has made them struck gold. And that was bring out a classic IP that wasn't really, that a lot of people weren't really able to get their hands on or didn't play because of the low audience that it had, which was the Resident Evil 1 remastered on the GameCube, right?
Yeah. Yep.
It never been available anywhere else. It was never on any other platform. It was only there. So it was stagnant and kind of dormant, and it was like a bear in hibernation. Nobody ever knew what had happened, and they brought it back out for a reasonable price of $20. Granted, they didn't put 60 frames on the Xbox One or PS4, but I guess they had to start from scratch. And remember, mind you, it's only been a couple of years where they were announcing that, or they had just announced that they were almost going bankrupt, where people started throwing ramblings of, oh, well, Microsoft should buy them or Sony should buy them, and you guys know this, you guys are evident to this.
Yeah.
So that's a very good point that you brought up. So Forever, I'm going to go to you real quick and talk to you about, so the same question basically, how do you feel, with the rebirth of a lot of things, let's say like a Resident Evil 2 where it looks like a completely brand new game, or possibly a Battletoads that's going to look far and beyond anything we've seen in the Battletoads universe, as opposed to a straight port like they've done with, Transformers: The Fall of Cybertron on the Xbox One, or even the Marvel Legends Ultimate Alliance that they were charging $50 or $40 for each one, when that was a game that was just a straight port. All they did was maybe fixed the frame rates a little bit more. How do you feel about it, my brother?
Well, first and foremost, man, I forgot how good this game is, because I haven't done it in such a long time. As I was watching you, and I'm listening to what you're saying. Like I'm gonna come from a different perspective when it comes to this, and that perspective being, I'm all about choice now and giving people the option.
Yes.
I think because we're older gamers and we've been doing this for a long time, that kind of stuff normally doesn't bother us because we kind of know, like Segaman said, we played most of these games. So I leave it up to the person to decide. Now, I used to be a type of person that I used to look at the publishers and the companies and stuff like that, but now I look at like what the gamers want. And if that's what the gamers want, then so be it. It's their money. It's what they want to spend their money on. That's fine. For me personally, if you're asking me personally, yeah, a lot of these games I would not rebuy. For the simple fact was I played most of them. But on the same token, man, I looked at the Sega collection that just came out, and I was thinking about getting that because, like I said earlier before we started the podcast, I don't have Vector Man, which is one of my favorite games of all time.
That's a
Vector
great
Man
game.
1 and 2. Yeah. So, it's on that collection, and you call it nostalgia and stuff like that, but just for the basic gameplay and the type of game it was, and I like it so much, I'd actually purchase that collection just for that game.
Right. Well, real quick, if I could, so I can add a question to you, since we're talking obviously. But the Vector Man was included in the original Genesis collection for the 360. My problem, I guess, what I'm trying to say is, shouldn't it have been made more sense for Sega to put it through the backwards compat, being that the game is already there, and it's easier probably just to give them permission and put it on there instead of, reselling a new collection, and just add the feature of online maybe through a patch, and the ones that haven't owned the Genesis collection, that's different. And I can totally see why they can resell it, but then not only do they not put it backwards compat, then they price it so high as far as the pricing. That's the other way I'm looking at it. So just to let you know. Anyway, go ahead, continue. I'm sorry.
No,
Can you guys hear me?
And I agree. Yes.
Yeah, we
can
can
hear
hear
you.
you. You're good. You're good.
I totally think you have valid points, and I'm not going to disagree with that. The problem you're having with a lot of these guys, and I've been talking about this a lot on my channel, and some people don't really want to hear it, but people just don't buy games anymore.
Yes. Good
So
Yeah, you're right.
point.
I mean,
You're
not
right.
on a level that we used to. I mean, we grew up in the 90s. We knew how it was. You tried to get your hands on whatever game you possibly could. We could not afford every game. And we would go dumpster diving and bargain bin diving
Yeah.
for stuff, but that's just because we had so many choices. And the type of gamers we are, as opposed to gamers now, is we like a lot of variety in our gaming. And so
Right. Hey,
the problem I
Microbots, how
see-
are you? He's watching us right now. Hey, Microbots, how are you guys?
Oh,
Say hello,
hey,
guys.
what's up, my
He's on the chat.
Hey,
He's in the
Michael
chat.
Box
That's
of
the-
X. What's up, brother?
He's so awesome. I love
Yeah,
his
that's-
channel.
that's-
Too. He got good content, man.
That's the man right there.
Go ahead, Forever.
Yeah,
I'm so
good
sorry.
content.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, that's fine. But and I think that's one of the issues why they're bringing out remasters, because look, nostalgia sells, and
Right.
like Moot says, nostalgia is a hell of a drug, and
Yeah.
whatever it takes for them to make money. And if you're not buying the new stuff, as
Right.
we as Xbox guys who are day one Xbox One, they didn't. A lot of people, though they say they love the games and they were hoping for sequels, we know that a lot of people did not buy the games on the level that would have caused Microsoft to, create second, sequels to these games.
Right.
And to go back to what you're saying with Sega, another issue being what you're saying earlier is, and I talked to another Sega guy about this because he asked me if I was gonna buy some of this stuff, and I was like, no, not really. And then he was like, well, I thought you were a Sega fan, and I'm like, oh, I'm a huge Sega fan, dude. I've been a
Right.
Sega fan my whole life
Yeah,
from the arcades.
isn't that funny when people
But
tell you that?
yeah, but
You know
I can see where
how-
his point is
when
because
people
he's kind
go-
of a younger.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's funny when they tell you, oh, you're not really, so how you're a Sega fan because you don't play Persona 5. When they don't understand that came
Yeah.
through Atlas. It wasn't a Sega property. Jesus. Go ahead, Forever.
Well,
I'm sorry.
The problem being for me, and I realize this. I'm not going to put I'm not going to be an elitist about it. I'm not going to put myself on other people. But I know myself, and the problem with Sega now, to speak to what you're saying, is it's just not the same company. A lot of the guys, I just didn't play the game because of the brand. I
Right.
actually like the people that actually worked
You're
on
very
those
wel-
games.
Right.
I like the teams that they had on the games. Sonic is not just Sonic to me. Sonic is a product of Yuji Naka, who created it. So, I mean, I was not just buying into the game. I was buying into him and his team and their ideals.
Yeah,
from the
Yuji
music
Naka.
to the level
Mhm.
designs.
That's right.
Yeah. So,
Oh, by
that's
the way,
another reason why I see.
Microbot said, "Thank you so much for making him feel so welcome. You're very welcome, kind soul.
Yeah.
You are a class act and a true gentleman, and you are familia."
I gotta
Go
look
ahead.
at. You know what? I don't have the chat on. I don't have the
Go
chat.
right
Oh, there we
ahead.
go. Okay, I see it now.
Yeah, yeah.
But that, it is what it is, and again, I'll go back to this. What the problem I'm having with people nowadays, if you say you're a gamer, do your research.
Right.
Don't just throw
Right.
money
Yeah.
at stuff.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
we know J-Long. J-Long does that all
Yeah,
the time.
absolutely.
He's not old school like us, but he knows his stuff. And if you buy a game that wasn't up to your expectation, it's kind of on you, because you have it a lot more easier than we did. We didn't have internet. We didn't have all this kind of stuff. We were
That's
actually
right.
into
That's
gaming,
right, man,
and,
yeah.
and you talk to people. Yeah, you have to talk to people about stuff. Nowadays,
Yeah,
you can just look
yeah.
stuff up. Now, some of
That's
it you
right.
got to filter, because some of it is a lot. There's a lot of hate out there, but
Oh yeah.
there's
Oh,
no
yeah.
reason why you can't get the information about what these games have or what they don't have. And then try and temper
Look
your
how gorgeous
expectations,
game
because
looks, guys.
sometimes
Right. Right.
when
Go
you
ahead.
listen to guys like us, and I'm guilty of this. I'll speak for myself, but I'm guilty of this. When I talk about something,
Go ahead. Say
Yeah.
it forever.
but that doesn't necessarily mean that you'll like the game. But I got to check myself on that. But still, there's no reason why you can't. If you say you're a gamer, you do what gamers do. You learn what you want. You know yourself. You know the type of games that you want.
That's right.
And don't fake it, man. If you're not a hardcore gamer, you
Just
don't have
be
to
on,
be.
right. Just be
And don't
honest
pretend
about
that you are. Yeah.
There's nothing wrong
Because
with
it's just
that
gonna hurt
either,
yourself in
you
the
know?
end.
I
there
never,
isn't,
I
yeah.
never understood.
I
that.
know.
Gaming's different
I never
now.
understood. Yeah, I never understood
Yeah.
that. Never, ever. Just if you like Sony better than Xbox, just say the truth. Don't sit there. I like them all, and then you clearly show hate towards another. It makes you look. I don't know, like
Yeah.
you're just trying to fit in. I guess.
Or when you play these games and you say you played, and then you start talking about it, and everybody
They
knows
don't
that
have a
plays it
clue.
that you have not.
Right.
They don't
Yeah.
have a clue.
Check your
Very
report
good.
card.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, we
or
don't-
maybe
we
or
tend
maybe
to-
you did play the game and you didn't finish it. There's no shame in that either.
Yeah,
There's no
exactly.
shame in saying that either.
Can't sit there and beat every game.
Because right now,
every
I used to
year.
be hardcore. Right. But I
Go
call
ahead.
myself
Yeah.
a casual now. I'm not as hardcore as I used to be.
Right.
I'm a casual guy.
But
type
that's
of
due
guy. I
to
just
our
don't have the time.
circumstances. That's not really due
know.
to the fact that you're not
Yeah.
a hardcore. It's just you have a life. You're a family man. You take care of your kids.
Well, I mean,
by yourself.
Playing
Other
State of Decay.
responsibilities and
Yeah.
Responsibilities. Right. And you'll have people to say, "Oh, look at the vast."
Well, State of
distance
Decay
this."
2 is making. Yeah. But that stopped, ever since it came out, which I shouldn't
at
be
down
doing.
there,
'cause,
look at
I
the-
got
look
work, I got kids, but
Look at those. Look at the animals right there in the vista. You see it down there? This game is so gorgeous. Sorry, just having a good time playing it.
no, that's fine. That's fine.
that's a great game.
It still holds up. It still holds
yeah.
stands
In
the test of
4K.
time.
It
people,
does.
4K.
Graphically, it looks good too.
4K
Well, you know what
never
it
looks-
is too. It's that art style. It's so unique
Yeah.
that it,
yeah.
there's really nothing
Oh, yeah.
like it. So
This engine is masterful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
anyway, that's my 2 points. I think a lot of it has to rely. I think gamers also have to share a part of that. If you want new IP, you have to support it, especially on the Xbox side. You guys are wanting new IP, and I don't know why Microsoft would make new IP if you guys don't buy their old new IPs. You know what I mean?
Right. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, how do you feel? See, like, I saw that Resident Evil 2, and it looks gorgeous. I mean, it looks beautiful, and I'm like, see.
Are you
they
guys
actually-
getting it?
Oh yeah, I am day one for me, because I never, out of all the Resident Evils, oddly enough, I never played 2. I own it for the Dreamcast, never got around to it because I played Nemesis. Then Veronica came out, and when Veronica came out, it just consumed my life, and so I couldn't do anything about it. Oh wow, I'm getting really destroyed right now. And it consumed my life for a very long time. And so I never got around to it. Then I played 4 on the GameCube. Then I played 5, obviously, when it came out for 360. And I just not ever got back around to it. Honestly, that's
Yeah.
the wholehearted truth. That just never got back to playing it. So right now, I have an amazing opportunity to go back and play it. It's like I'm psyched. And then the way it looks too, I'm like, holy mother of Jerusalem. Um, so and it makes me, what gets me mad though is, like I said, that a lot of people like to justify these things, even though I know how it is, because there's not a lot of people that buy games anymore. Sega4eva is right, but if you own it, like us, I feel like it should, like they should at least treat us with a little respect as well, I guess, for making the investment before, and put it through backwards compat. That's my biggest gripe. I don't know if you guys may not agree with me, but that's one of my main, well, if not my biggest gripe. If they want to make a new one just because they want to bring in more people, then oh yeah, it is one of the best. Yeah, that's what I keep hearing. Then that's great, but I don't know. I like when you do like those cheap ports, like the Deadpool, even though it's an awesome game. And Transformers Fall Cyber, another amazing game. It just, for me, it just makes it seem like it's a cash grab, and it's offensive to the gamers as a whole. And I feel like us being root gamers, it's our responsibility to vocalize and speak our word to teach these newer gamers how it could be, because they don't have a sense. Like they almost act like they don't care, borderline, like they don't even care,
Yeah.
And that's where it becomes a big issue.
I don't think they do. I don't think.
Yeah,
they do.
that's what I'm saying. Like it's crazy, but I'm with you. I think that's exactly the same. You like what you just said. I think it's just the same exact situation where I don't think they care, and we need to kind of show them that you need to, because it's for the better being or the better good of the gaming, itself as a whole. Maybe not now. They don't see it now, but if it continues in that path, it might not ever get fixed and just get worse to the point where it's like, you can't fix it, so yeah. So I want to kind of go into the direction of, because we already got the message across, I'm pretty sure, of, the differences between what a good game.
Oh, sorry, bro. I love this scene.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What a good
This
game is
awesome.
remastered. Look at the lighting and the shadows and the water and on the actual assets of the boss. That we got to cross the point of when a remaster makes sense, in the sense of when it's quality or when it feels like a cash grab. So I want to go into that with from the angle of, okay, so what do we? I'm sorry. I'm trying to figure out how to turn around here. So what games, okay, you guys feel, and I'm going to start with you, Sega, or Sega Man, that you feel that has been in, let's say, hiatus for a very long time, that really needs to be addressed in the sense of bringing back, like in the style of Resident Evil 2 or Gears Ultimate, that give you the best bang and value for your buck. What game of your personal liking, from your personal library, or something that you were very fond of from back in the day, you feel should make a comeback and have a remaster that would make sense for you?
Well, I really would like this game to come back. Actually, there's a lot, but I'll name one that I really played and enjoyed from Xbox when it was online, and hours and hours of fun, and that's the original Mech Assault. I really like to see that come back.
Right.
And I thought they would show. I actually thought in my heart of hearts that they would say something about Mech Assault, but I don't know. I don't know if they're planning on doing that, because I know they got feedback from me on Twitter, and a lot of people want that game back. But you know what he bought in Sega4eva? That game was just. I like Robot. It was incredible for the original OG Xbox. I mean, the environments, the the destruction of the buildings and the mechs. I mean, it was just great, man. I had so much fun with that game. Hours of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that Ragnarok.
And you still own it, I bet, now, right? The original one?
Yeah, I still have it. I wish they would make it at least back compat if you don't want to make a remake of it, and try to make it online. Because, I mean, there was so many people back in the day he bought that was playing that and another game called Whacked. I still have it.
Yeah, Whacked. I
It was
remember that.
Yeah, it was a quirky game, but it was pretty good, man. I would like to see that, you know,
Yeah.
that come back. And it just was so much fun, man. I used to play it so much, my wife used to get mad at me because I stay up till like 2, 3 in the morning, man. You know what I mean? Playing that. Yeah, she used to get pissed. She did.
You're not the
She did
only
get
one.
pissed double times, yeah. You need to turn that off. It's like 3 in the morning playing Mechasol all night, man. But
Oh,
yeah,
boy.
that's one of them. They had a lot of gems, man. The original OG Xbox, I thought got overlooked. Some of them, you know what I mean?
Definitely, especially
You
OG.
know, and they,
OG more than anything,
had
I
good-
think, than any other console.
Yeah.
I feel, personally, in my opinion.
The, yeah, the Otagis, those were good.
Oh boy, Tagi. Front Software, don't even talk to me. They got me so mad right now. They're doing all these exclusives for everybody else, and now we get the Synkiro that was announced, and it's not going to be like a Souls game. It's actually the traditional
Yeah.
hack and slash, and instead of doing
Yeah.
some type of deal with with Xbox, they it's supposedly, I think, a timed exclusive or something like that. Instead of being full-on
really?
exclusives, yeah, or something like that. I could be wrong, but that's what I believe it is. And yet they did a deal with Bloodborne with PlayStation. Like, really? Like, I don't think it's a money
he
issue.
bought.
Yeah, go
And
right
he
ahead.
bought Sega Forever. Give me a quick opinion on that. Remember when they went to visit Microsoft's Sega? What do you think they were doing, though, man? Are they bringing something out? I mean, what were they doing there?
Well, he said
know what I mean? Was
he
it-
said
Oh.
it. He said in E3. Go ahead, Forever. You answer, because I've been talking a mouthful so far. Go ahead.
Oh, you're talking about when he went to Japan?
No,
Yeah.
when they came to Microsoft Studios and they took pictures, didn't Sega come down to see them?
Yeah, yeah, they did.
That was a whole lot of people that they're bringing in. Like Phil, I think Hebo was going to say this. Phil Spencer talked about it in his interviews, and he's not per se, as he talked about paying for certain content or the exclusivity thing and stuff like that.
Okay.
He believes in this open. He believes in this open, everybody come together kind of thing.
Yeah.
When it comes to gaming, but one thing that he said that was really interesting to me, and this really stuck out to me a lot, and this was when he did the Giant Bomb interview, which I
Yeah.
never
Yeah.
really watched Giant
I
Bomb.
watched that.
I only watched
I don't
it.
watch it either.
Yeah, I only watched it. I only watched him because he was on there. But
Me too.
he said something that I think I think I'm safe to say that for both. I think I know you guys as gamers well enough to say this, and we all know this, is that look, Japan doesn't push the industry anymore. It just does
Yeah.
not. Because we grew up in a time and played games,
Yeah.
like consumed games and stuff like that in a time when they dominated everything.
Right.
And I know
Oh,
a lot
yeah.
of gamers out there don't realize that. I mean, Japan set the trend. We have a lot of old school gamers, and a lot of these, I'll just put it, fanboys out there that think that's still the case. It's not. And
Right.
I like what Phil said when he was getting interviewed and asked this question, and he did it very tactfully. And he talked about that. He says instead of going over there and getting games to make Xbox #1, he went there to show them
That their
Microsoft
games
to
can make
their
sense.
games.
World globally with us.
Well, they
on
can,
our platform. Right.
yeah, and how they can make it better on his. And I think that's why you're getting some of this stuff, because the Xbox One X is the real deal.
Yes.
And the
Yes.
support that Microsoft is giving, as we saw from this past E3, that and I'm not talking about Xbox, I'm talking about Microsoft proper. I'm talking about the big guns. They're really
Yeah.
supporting, as we saw at E3. So I think everybody's coming on board. It's just going to take some time because now Phil's in charge and he's trying to do that. I got a little bittersweet feeling towards this kind of stuff. The only thing I don't have a real problem with it is because I like the games that they're putting out now. But I think it's just going to take them a little bit of time. It doesn't look like he's going to buy anything, which, for my own personal opinion, I was hoping that he would at least get a couple of the titles like you guys were
Yeah.
talking about. But I don't know if that's going to happen.
Well, I think it'll happen.
But I mean, that's their philosophy too.
yes,
That's their
yes.
philosophy going forward.
I think it's going to happen as long as they know that the actual developers want to be bought, or they want to make the games exclusives. I don't think they want to force anybody to make the game exclusive to the platform unless that's what they want as as a company, like if they want it exclusive only on the console, because they feel they're gonna have certain type of benefits, and that's why. And you're right. When he did that interview, he was really like straightforward, but in a professional way. He said, "Listen, Japanese people don't care about our consoles in Japan, so we have to show to them why it would make sense to put it in there for the rest of our audience. You're going to be able to show it as far as performance, graphic quality, fidelity, and all that stuff, which sounds, and he even said, I know it sounds like a bunch of PR talk, but that's the best way for us to help their games be better in other places and other consoles, which in this case our platform, which it plays the games the best. There's no its hands or buts. And I thought it was very genuine of him and very professional, but he got the point across. And a lot of people that probably slid right by him, to be honest with you. It was like it went right through there. And but he's right. Sega4eva is absolutely right. He really put it out there, and he said, listen, and he also said, my work is not done. I'm gonna go again to Tokyo Game Show, he said Japan Fest and some other stuff, and I'm gonna go make some other acquisitions and for games, exclusivities, and to bring over more for our audience. He said it. So he said, I'm not done.
I just hope I just hope a lot of people don't jump the gun with that. If you see the type of studios and where the direction that they're going with their games, they really like the smaller developers, the creativity. Instead of like paying that big contract for the for the big time professional athletes.
Well, he did it with Candleman. Remember?
They'll try and cultivate.
He did it with Candleman. That's a Chinese first. You see what I'm saying? For quite some time, and I think it did fairly well. It's an amazing little game, It's just I don't think our audience or our gamers went out and supported it. Candleman, yeah, it's on the Xbox Live Store. Awesome little game. You're actually a candle. It's a platformer, and the whole purpose of it, you got to keep getting to the end of each level, using your fire to turn on other candles to lead your way, without you melting all the way down. If you melt completely, you die. That's how it works. Hello? You guys can hear me, right?
You there?
Yeah, you guys can hear me, right?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I'm kind of fading out.
Yeah. That's how it works. You're a little candle man, and you got to work your way platforming.
You there?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you, Sega man.
Sega there? Sega for?
Yeah, we can hear you. Sega there. He's there. I keep doing the same mistake. Oh my gosh. Hey guys, are you there? Sega man, can you hear me?
E-Bot?
Yeah, can you hear me, Sega man?
Yeah, you were you're botting just a little bit in and out.
Am I?
You was. I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. Let's see if Sega4eva is actually there yet. Go check if it's working, please. Check again, please. So like I was saying, he was very descriptive and honest. But that game, Candleman, you're a little candle, right? And the whole point of it is you platform through, and as you're platforming through, you got to try to turn on all the candles to lead your path because it's dark, without melting completely. You understand? As long as you don't. Yeah. So, and that's the whole point of the game. And you fight bosses and everything. So it was a really fun game. I beat it and finished it. Had a DLC. It was an amazing little game.
Oh, good.
I highly recommend it to anybody to play it.
I still want that Raging Justice, man. I need to get that.
Oh yeah, Raging Justice is really awesome. It's very old school. Feels very old school, but it's awesome.
Yeah, very man. Awesome. I gotta get that game, man. I might get it tomorrow, actually.
Sorry, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yeah, I can hear you.
I think my battery might be dying. Okay, sorry. I heard what you said though.
So yeah, that was a really awesome game that I highly recommend. And it's from China, so you know he has been putting in what we call the legwork, you know, to bring these games over. It's just the audience on the Xbox community has to pay more attention. A lot of people don't even know what it is. They'll be like, "What's that?" You know, not because they like in Sega Man's case, not because he doesn't care, but because he has a life and very busy. He's a family man. He works a lot of hours, so that's understanding. I'm talking about the ones that are there, you know, the usual suspects frequently because they can, and yet they don't support it. You know, just because they see it as, oh, that's a little indie game. Why would I buy that? I want to buy only triple A's, and that seems to be that's the problem. You know, just because it's an indie game doesn't mean it's not a good game.
Pay too much attention to the media, man.
Yeah.
They
And
do.
Microbronx had said something on the chat about Blinks, the Time Sleeper, and Monch Odyssey. You know, the one that came out for OG.
Yeah.
Those games would be awesome candidates. Thank you for
Yes, they would.
those suggestions too, Microbots. Those games would be really good candidates for remasters. You know, like to reintroduce them to audience now that, you know, since everybody's so fond with retro stuff, it would work, I think, tremendously, and they would do well because those games,
it would.
Those games at the time that they came out, especially like Blinks with the whole rewind feature and, you know, and gimmick, when it was introduced the way it did, it was not as elaborate as Quantum Break, but they were, you know, doing something that was never done before by other games. So they were technologically doing something new, evolving gaming, if you will. So, and plus it's a platformer that, one of the platformers that are available, like Torque, like, you know, obviously Conquer, you know, for Xbox, because they didn't have a lot of platformers. Now they're starting to build that you know, that portfolio with Super Lucky Tales and with Cuphead, you know, which is great. Because I think,
Cuphead,
I think Microsoft needs more platformers, to be quite honest, for the brand, because it'll bring in also more kids that like platformers as well. Yeah, go ahead. Segaman, sorry.
They feel. I feel Microsoft feels like, to me, like a different, like a new age Sega. It's weird, you know what I mean? It feels like like they're Sega, you know what I mean, in a way. With some of the stuff they bring out, because I know they,
you know the difference
have a
though.
good.
Sorry, Sega Man, but you know the difference.
No, go ahead. What's up?
Yeah, and here's a big difference. They have money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they don't have the same. Yeah. That was. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
They're not going to get bullied.
Yeah, they have that money,
for
so that's a
sure.
big factor.
They're not going to get bullied.
Yeah, they're not
like
going to get
Sega
bullied.
did.
That's for sure. Yep.
Yeah.
And if they make a mistake, they have that, you know, what you call it, that slack to go back to the drawing board and try to fix whatever they did wrong. Unlike the old Sega, that with all the mistakes that they did, even though I never thought they were intentional. You know, I just think it was just bad timing, maybe problems with the publishers. You know, not finding the right publishers for the Saturn.
They just didn't have the business sense. That's what happens when you have a company, because that's why we love them. They're very creative, and they push the envelope, and they're on the edge, but there was nobody there to pull them back. And Shenmue is a perfect example of that. We love the game. It's a great game. It's ahead of a time. Yeah, that's not going to happen with Microsoft. Because Microsoft is very business oriented. So, and then when you have all those pockets of money, you can be. Sega just didn't have that, and it's unfortunate. It's like one of the reasons why I love them, but I think ultimately one of the reasons why they, you know, went down like they did.
Yeah.
Right.
And they are very innovative, you know.
They're always pushing the envelope, evolving gaming in so many ways. A lot of the ideas that from now were introduced by them, you know, 10, 20 years ago, 15 years ago, you know, so many years back ago, you know. And a lot of people don't know that, especially these new age gamers that don't know diddly squat. And then they wonder why we tell them that they're not hardcore gamers like us. And they think we're trying to offend them. They don't realize it's just we're speaking because of the knowledge that we have. that they could never understand because they weren't part of that. You see, so it's obviously evident, you know, especially when they talk, when you ask them things, it's pretty evident. Hi, Microboss says Microsoft needs to buy Sega. Such a huge back catalog and an amazing games that could be reinvented for a new audience, for us and the old school gamers. Absolutely, Microbots. I agree with you 1000%. But the only thing is, I don't think they'll sell because to each other because they're Japanese owned, you know, and they're so set in their ways, like Sega4eva has said many times. They're so old school that they wouldn't. That for them, getting bought by somebody like Microsoft, especially them being an American company, it would probably be like looked at as an offense, like they're offending the company, you know, in many ways, for a lot of the people, you know, at Sega and Japan itself, you know. So I don't know. That's a good point, but I definitely agree with you 100%. Microbots. I think that the acquisition of Sega would be absolutely bonkers because I know they would be able to provide them with all the money they need to bring back all those old type Ps and new ones with the right budget, you know, and the right marketing and the right tool sets and things like that. So that they need, especially Sega, because they know how to innovate with all the things they have at hand. They always utilize every console to the fullest potential with the way that they program. You know, I don't know if maybe with the new people they have there, a lot of new people, but if they do have any still, they could definitely master each console that is out now from our generation. You know, especially something like the Xbox that's giving you so much squeeze play and room to do things with the extra horsepower, obviously. So for Sega, are you there, Sega4eva?
Let me go see what's going on.
Are you there, Sega?
Oh, I can hear you now.
Awesome.
You guys there?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
So
I can hear you guys
Sega4eva,
now.
my question to you is, what game would you like to see remastered that you feel would make a whole lot of sense because it's either too old, maybe it was what you call hiding in the cellar somewhere where nobody knew what it even was. You know, to give you a few examples, or even just because it was one of your favorite gems, you growing up that you felt a lot of people never got to play and should have had the chance to try it out.
Are we just talking Sega games or any game?
No, we're talking your favorite, your own personal choice of something you played that's retro style.
Okay.
That's been in hiatus for, let's say, several years now, that really deserves a reintroduction to the younger audience now, to be brought out. That's basically.
Oh, I forgot one. Go ahead, Sega4eva.
Oh,
No,
okay.
go ahead, Sega man. Yeah, definitely.
Go ahead.
Just
No
one.
worries.
Just one more, man.
Yeah,
An
go
old
ahead,
school
man.
fighting game I love called Eternal Champions. Please bring
I know
that
you were
back.
Oh my gosh.
Please bring
Yeah.
that back.
I knew he was going.
As soon as you said
go
old
there.
school fighting, that's how you know he's
Yeah,
a Sega
Eternal
guy. That's
Champ.
how you know
Yeah,
he's a
Eternal
Sega guy.
Champions was awesome, dude. Like what?
It had good music
No,
and
that's
everything.
music to
I
my
thought it
ears.
was. Yeah. I thought it was going better than Mortal Kombat.
Oh, it was so cool, and it had that kind of water paint art style at the same time.
Yeah.
It
that
was awesome,
great.
dude. It was awesome. It was awesome.
I
It
loved
played
it.
so fluid as well. A lot of people don't
Yeah.
even know. They're probably like, Eternal Champion?
The-
What in God's
Yeah.
name
Nah, they can
creation
Google
is
it.
that?
Go
Yeah, let them
Google it.
Google it.
You can Google it.
We're not gonna
Yeah.
give you. We're not gonna give you a pass. You should know,
Hey.
especially with such a great game like that.
Hey, Sega4eva, can you imagine that? Eternal Champion characters versus KI characters.
Oh,
Yeah,
like
that would be
crossover.
awesome. You know? Yeah.
That would be
Yeah.
amazing.
It's a perfect
That would
fit,
be
actually,
amazing.
if you think about it.
Yeah, because they were
Yeah.
It
obscure as
wouldn't be
well.
hard.
Yeah, they were obscure as well. It would be a great fit. You guys see what
Especially if they
I'm fighting here?
updated, right? Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sega4eva.
Oh, hello.
Sega-
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you keep
Yeah.
kind of like it
Yep,
sounds
go
like
ahead, man.
you're muting yourself. It sounds like.
Nah, just I'm fading in and out on the stream, I guess. If I have to bring back any old stuff,
Look at that cutscene.
well, I definitely, yeah, it looks amazing to this day.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
The one great thing about the Panzer Dragoon series, whether it's the shooter or the RPG, is it always made it feel like you were in an Elseworld.
Yes.
The production
mystical
value
world.
and the story.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And whether it was the shooter on rails or whether it was that RPG stuff, it never lost its flavor.
No.
I kind of see
it
that with
never lost
Halo,
to me.
and no matter like with Halo Wars, yeah, never lost it. It always kept that in mind, and that creativity, that's hard to come by.
It's kind of awesome that
Um,
you said that too, because in a way, Panzer Dragoon felt like a Halo, but for the Dragon world and for the series, like Halo meets Dragons, almost feels like, because of the aesthetics,
Yeah.
the organic look in the world. So they have like a lot of similarities as far as the look, the feel, but with dragons, obviously. I'm sorry, Sega4eva. I'm just you keep bringing up some great
No,
topics,
that's
and you got me crazy.
Well, I'm just as I'm watching the gameplay, I just forgot how amazing this game is because I haven't played it in so long.
Right.
Um,
Right.
But oh my gosh, I used to play this thing nonstop. I mean, it's just because it wasn't just about the gameplay; it was just being in that world. And I always had this
Yeah.
fantasy that they would actually create a series or a movie based on it because it was the story. It's really interesting. It's very Japanese in the sense that the story overall, the world, was greater than the sum of its parts. But it was in the parts that you actually enjoyed.
Right.
Because they had the same kind of aesthetic, but the stories were kind of different. And people that play like the RPG version of Panzer Dragoon Saga, I mean, can see that firsthand. So so I mean, if I had to say anything, I'd love to see them bring something like this back. I think it would be awesome, especially for this day and time. You imagine this with the power of the X. I mean, just the hardware
Oh
power.
man. I
And
couldn't even imagine.
because look at the stuff that they're doing with all these games that they're enhancing, and I love that they use that word enhanced because it's in every sense of the word for these games that are becoming enhanced. It fits it perfectly, right? You're getting the best looking quality game that plays better and looks better on the Xbox One X. So I could see them actually building something for the Xbox One X. I mean, with HDR and the 4K. Look at the background.
yeah.
It looks amazing now. But if
Look
they
at the
actually built
character
it,
models, dude.
with-
This we're
Yeah.
talking about something that's
Well, look
over
at-
20 years old.
Yeah. That's amazing how that still
Well-
stands the test of time, guys.
Well,
Amazing.
it's because of it's because of the art style too. Like we talked about in the DirectX where that one time he bought, because that's why you can still watch like Fifth Element, and that's why you can still watch certain movies, because that art style never gets old because there's nothing like it. It's original, and that's what's so great about Panzer Dragoon. I mean, it is its own world, and dude, they could do like if they're looking for a franchise, this would definitely be one for the ages.
Who's
I mean,
the
me
creator
personally,
of
that's
that?
what I think.
Oh,
Oh
no.
my gosh, should have known you were gonna
What's
ask me
his
that.
name?
I forgot.
Who?
The look on
I
my
want to say
thing here.
Sakaguchi, but yeah, I gotta look it up. 'Cause I want
Oh.
to say Sakaguchi, but I know that I'm wrong.
Oh, the creator, you
No,
mean?
Panzer.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
creator of Panzer
Yeah, I
Dragoon.
forgot his name too. I know. It's not that I forgot his name. I don't know how to pronounce it. Because yeah. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So you would like to see basically a Panzer Dragoon brought back? Well, I mean,
Well, I mean, there's a lot of
Crimson
games they could do. I mean,
Dragon
so what?
is the spirit successor. It's an amazing game with amazing depth that you can actually go back with a lot of replay value. The only thing was obviously it was a smaller title, but it still looked incredible. And many people just brushed it off because they thought it was a Kinect game. Because they gave you the option to play with the Kinect, but you could play with the controller. And it's a shame. And look at these epic boss battles. You guys think that God of War or Sony made these epic boss battles first? No, you're very mistaken. These things were done first by all types of Sega games from back in the day. You know, this is nothing new. This was their language.
Yeah. Yeah.
Believe it or not, to a lot of people, you know, especially these young heads, that they swear they know what they're talking about. Makes me laugh. And Microbot said that Power Stone would be another game that he would love to see come back.
Oh yeah.
And it's a good
Power
choice. A good choice, Microbot. The only problem with that is that was through Capcom, and I don't know if
Capcom owns it.
would do it with Sega partnered up. I mean, they
I
could.
think I saw the Dreamcast demo of that.
Yeah. I own part 1 and 2 Power Stone for Dreamcast. I have them.
I don't see I don't have them here, boss. See, that's ones I have. You have. I don't have. Those.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And I also
They're
have
You should get
the
to,
Rival
man.
School. I
You
have the
should-
Rival School series.
Yeah.
I have Project. I think it's Project. Oh my God, it was called
I
Project
got Project Justice.
Yeah, I got that
one.
too.
Yeah, Project
Yeah.
Justice.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's the Rival School sequel. I think it's part 3,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I have those. I have that one too. I had the last Blade. I had that.
Yeah, I have
still.
that. That's a good one.
I gotta kind
That's
of
a
do
good one.
a video with my Dreamcast stuff because I showed it standing
You should.
stacked up,
You
but I
should.
never showed all the titles individually. I just showed it stacked up, and a lot of people couldn't probably read the titles that I have. So I
Yeah.
should try to do that. Especially you. You keep influencing me big time, Sega man. I
Yes,
just
yeah, I wanna
enjoy.
see that.
I just enjoy when you start talking about, oh, I got this and I got this, and I'm like, I guarantee you, 90% of the people that see this video ain't gonna know what the hell that game is. And
Nope.
I love it. It
Nope.
makes me
I
excited.
don't think
when
they
see it.
do.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because you even brought up something that I didn't even remember, and I was like, oh snap, I remember that.
Was that Mr. Bones?
No, it wasn't Mr. Bones. It was another game you showed on your Genesis collection. I think it was, or was it your Genesis or your Saturn? It was one of those. All I know is I forgot completely
Saturn?
about it. No, it was on your Genesis for sure, 100% your Genesis. But
okay.
it was like, wow, he just brought it back. Like a lot of people won't know what Jewel Master is, you know, and Mystic Defender, which Mystic Defender is the sequel to Jewel Master. Mystic Defender was
Yeah,
on
that's a
Genesis.
great game.
Yeah, really awesome game. That's another good candidate for a throwback, you know, to come back and be brought, you know, reintroduced or revisited. Like Consaden. Consaden, you have that. That was one of my favorite Master System games with the Samurai. Oh, I fucking
Yeah.
love that game.
But what about
And go
Sega
ahead.
Forever? What ones would you like to come back, man? You didn't say.
Well, he said
well, the
Panzer,
Panzer
but
Dragon
I'm
would be good.
Just Panzer? Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, there's a bunch that could. Like Space Harrier, I think would be a good option right now in this day
oh,
and age.
man.
beautiful. Music
Yeah.
to my ears. Oh my
Vector
god.
Man would be another one.
Oh yes. That would be
What's the other
awesome.
one?
Vector Man.
Like Vector Man.
Oh,
New
Vector
one.
Man, yeah.
Remember Green Dog?
I mean, since
Yeah. Yeah, I have it.
That would. Oh yeah, that's an awesome
That's a
game.
Green
With the
Dog?
surfboard
that was weird.
dude?
That was
with the
weird,
surf-
man. That
with
was
the,
weird.
Yeah, it was different. It was with the surfboard dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was such
Yeah.
a cool looking game, graphically at the time, and it was different. You know what I mean? And the music was all funky. You know, I love those type of games like that. Those were like those hidden gems like that. I used to love that.
I got I got this one, and you too, Sega Forever. You might have heard of it. You remember a long time ago where they kept out all weird, different type of fighting games, like after Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's this one I got called Fight Masters. You ever heard of that?
No, that's one of the ones that you showed
By,
me
it's
that
by
I
a
saw. And I was
company
like,
named Trico.
yes. You showed
Fight
it. I was like,
Masters.
I never played
Was
that.
that,
I heard of
was-
it. It's called Fight Masters.
It's by a company
was that
called
on?
Trico.
Master System?
Sega Genesis.
Genesis. Yes, that's what it was. Genesis. You're right. Never heard
It
of it
had
until I
these
saw
weird
it in your
aliens,
video.
and you fight these aliens. Yeah. The company's
remember.
called
I've heard that.
Trico.
Trico, yep. I saw it when you showed it. That was one of them right there. That I had no clue. I was like, wait a second.
It's
I heard
very
of that, but I've
cheesy.
never seen
Fighting game, man.
it. He's looking it up. Sega
Yeah,
Forever is looking it up. I know he's looking it up. I can hear it by the side of the
Yeah,
What in God's name is
no,
that?
yeah, I've never heard of it actually.
Hey, Forever.
I'm
It's
I'm looking
really
at a picture
cheesy,
right now.
man. It's a cheesy fighting game. I liked it. Me and my friend Brian played it over and over. We just laughed at it. It was so good, man. Yeah, he's playing the intro of it.
Can you hear it?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the music is catchy though. I like it. Oh, I like it.
Yeah, Mastodon equip.
Forever. It's different, weird type fighting game. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, it says yeah. I've never seen that before actually.
Yeah, that was
Sega's
And I have
just,
this
they did
one
a lot
called,
of weird stuff.
what's that other one called? I have one called Street Smart. You guys heard of that, right?
Yeah, that I do. Yeah, yeah. You know they threw a like an homage to that one of those games that came out recently. That intro was just like Street Smart. I was like, oh, they got that from Street Smart.
What game is that?
I'm trying to remember the name of it. I just played it the other day. It's a new game that threw a bunch of homages, like older games.
Yeah.
And that was the beginning of it. Was exactly like Street Smart.
Yeah. Okay.
You know how when they show, I'm gonna take a quick pause so I can explain better. You know how when they showed the guy in the front of the building and then he punches him, and then he falls back exactly the same way. It was set up exactly the same. I can't remember off the top of my head. Yeah. I was like, oh, that's Street Smart. All day, that's Street Smart. Yeah, but it was cool though when I saw it. I thought it was great. Really, really great.
Yeah, I remember this game. This game.
Remember that?
Yeah, this one I do. I have to actually look up the images because I can't picture it.
Oh my God, I think I'm having problems with the stream. I don't see it. Can you guys check if we're having the stream going? Like,
It was working
image
just. Yeah, I'm going right now. 1 second. I see it. All right, Micro man, take it easy. Microbox going to sleep.
oh yeah, it's right. It's like sleeping nearly 2 a.m. here, but can't switch off. He says he don't want to go because he's enjoying it. So it's 2 o'clock in the morning for him.
Microbox
Thanks for stopping by.
He has a good podcast, man.
Yeah. Oh, amazing. That's why I'm proud to be part of it. That's right.
I
yeah,
watch him.
He says,
I watch you.
oh my God, I got killed. No. He said, I'm still here, LOL. Not going until you finish now. He's addicted. Sorry, Micro. We didn't mean to ingest the drugs in you. We're so sorry. We're better than coffee at this point, huh? So Forever, I mean, so those are pretty much the ones that you have off the top of your head? Forever. Well, I think we lost him for a little bit, or
Is he there?
he's
he there?
drifting on and off. No, he's
you
probably
hear-
there. He'll come back. He's just like in and out, I guess. Remember, he's in Hawaii, so the
Yeah.
connection is very difficult.
He's real far away.
Yeah. Just like Microbot.
Yeah.
Microbot's is in the UK, so it's not
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah.
People don't understand that. We're so lucky to have a format like this, like Mixer, Twitch, and podcasting, that we can, connect like we were in the same room. That's why I think it's
Yeah.
so elegant and amazing about it, that that these other dudes that just want to use it for drama or ignorance, use the platform in such a wrong
Sorry guys, I'm back.
Hey, there he is.
dumb way. See, I told you he would be back. He's magical. So yeah, so
Hey,
those are pretty
Forever
much the ones.
In Hawaii,
Go ahead.
real quick. In Hawaii, do they have do you find like used games down there? They have like thrift stores and stuff.
We're just like everybody else. You get GameStops now.
Oh, okay.
Not really. Why were you looking for something?
No, I'm just because like I didn't know if like down in Hawaii they have like their version of like a Goodwill or like a new to used shop where you can go in and like find different used games or even different stuff like that. You know, what I mean like a something like a new to used shop. You know.
Use your famous saying.
Oh yeah.
On the cheap. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the cheap.
Yeah.
That's his famous
I mean,
saying.
yeah, we do have like I think it's called Book Savers or something like that. There's games and stuff over there.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
But it's not as much. I mean, it's easier to get them from like online, like eBay.
Yeah.
Plus, with some of that stuff, it'll be intact. That was
Yeah.
something I always told Hebot, man, when I was growing up here. People just didn't really play games and stuff like that. It was kind of an oddball. I think most
Yes.
nerds were back then, but I mean, more so over here because that just wasn't the culture. So
Yeah.
I think that was the case for a lot of us, to be honest.
yeah,
For most of us root gamers,
Yeah.
it was very hard for us to find other people that played like we did, and like on the same level, or that
yeah.
felt for it,
Oh,
or
yeah.
felt for the hobby on the same level, the way that we do, we do. And it's like,
well, that's why a lot of times it was a lot better in a sense, right? Because you actually met people that actually cared about this stuff.
Oh yeah.
right.
And you were ostracized, so just the fact that you're ostracized makes you guys, like friends
weirdos.
for life in a sense, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So,
Now it's cool to play.
but nowadays, like
What,
I
you're
talked about
hip.
it. Yeah,
Just ask Microbox.
like I say on my videos,
Star.
man, it's
Microbox. Yeah.
I mean it's popular now. It's popular
Right,
culture,
right.
so it's transcended. So it's a big tent. Everybody plays it.
What
I
about
talk
you,
this on my
Hebot?
videos,
What was that?
Yeah.
What about you?
Segaman,
What games would you like to come back,
Oof.
man? What,
Well, I'm
what
glad
would you like
you-
to see, brother?
I'm so glad you asked me, like the host of the show, because that makes me feel so special, and it makes me know that you're comfortable. Thank you.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
As you guys see here, right? I've been playing Panzer Dragoon Orta, an OG Xbox exclusive that we were not able to play until just recently. Again, unless you own an OG Xbox, which for some people, that wasn't really an easy thing, or hasn't been an easy thing. So for that, we got to thank you, Microsoft, for caring about the gamers and gaming in general, right?
Yeah.
With this
Yeah.
amazing program of backwards compatibility. I mean, it's bar none, man. You can't beat it. You can't. You
Oh,
just
yeah.
can't.
Oh,
All
yeah,
those
you
who
can't.
hate on it, who say that it's stupid, are just haters, because there's no way you can hate on something so amazing, especially that they're enhancing them in 4K for free. For free, people, for
Yes.
free. For
Yeah.
free. You don't pay a dime. You just pop in the disc and you're ready to go. Oh my Jesus.
Yep.
And then if you want to buy it, they're selling them for, practically a dime, a nickel out of a dime, or whatever the saying is. I forgot at the moment. But you guys know what I mean.
Yeah.
They're $10, and they're worth. And these games are worth every penny. But these games hold their quality. You could just look and see what I'm playing and see if
Oh,
they were
yeah.
not quality or not.
Definitely.
So the reasoning for me to pick this game for the audience to see is basically because one of the most renowned games of my time, right, of our time,
yeah.
that a lot of people have not even a clue what it is, was the RPG of Panzer Dragoon, which was
Yeah.
Panzer Dragoon Saga. Very limited run, the most underrated and underappreciated action RPG of our time, that was doing things that made Final Fantasy VII, and I'm not being a blasphemous, this is a fact, it made Final
Yeah.
Fantasy VII look 2 generations behind, or 3 generations, well, 2 generations behind. And that's a fact. Anybody that played it would know that. And I'm not talking about just because of the story, maybe not in story, because Final Fantasy has a lot more character development and worlds, but in the world of the Panzer Dragoon, everything was unique, different, wasn't something that was familiar. It has a lot of world characters in its own right, based off the Panzer world, obviously, right? So that game
Yes.
is super expensive. A lot of people never got their hands on it because it was printed only in a very short amount of run. So I think Panzer Dragoon Orta, or rather Saga, should be a very big candidate. In my humble opinion, I think a lot of people would agree with me, should be a very big candidate to be remastered in a very big way, to be reintroduced and brought back. Because I think a lot of people will realize how wonderful it was, how important it was, how big it was, and that they were, missed out basically. Because you did. If you didn't play that game, you missed out. That game is just that good. And I know people are going to be like, oh, yeah, of course you're going to say that you're a Sega fan. When the reality of it is, no, it really is that good. So, I know because I had the privilege to play it. Unlike
Yeah.
many, I had the privilege to own it. Unlike many, and I even resold it. That game I sold back, right? That game, right?
Uh-huh.
I sold it back at double of what I paid for it originally on a trade. That's how valuable it was
Yeah.
at that time.
Oh,
I paid $50 for it, right? Because I remember, like it was yesterday, I went into Bavage's in one of the malls that I was going to school for at the time when I was going to school, and when I went in there, they were doing I used to go every Tuesday because that's when they got their shipments, and when I went in there, it was taken right out of the box, and lo and behold, they had one copy of the game. Just one copy. One. That's it.
Wow.
So the guy asked me, "Hey, you want it?" I said, "You're gonna ask me twice. Of course I want it."
Yeah. Why?
Because I had been reading for months and months and months, in magazines about it, and I was that was probably my favorite IP from Sega at the time on the Saturn. I had 1 and 2, Panzer Dragoon 2. As a matter of fact, for those who may or may not know, if you do or if you don't, this is part 4 to the Sega Panzer Dragoon series. And this game here, you can actually unlock the Sega Saturn version of part 1. It's unlockable in the game. For a lot of people that may not know.
Oh yeah, that's right. It is.
So if you keep playing it, and the way you unlock it is, you have to play the game for at least. Oh wow! Look at this. Oh my lord! You have to play the game for at least. I think it's 5 hours. If I'm not mistaken. That's how you unlock it.
5 hours.
Yeah, you have to play at least 5 hours in the game, and it will unlock in the Pandora's box section. Yeah, I think I'm gonna end up dying because my energy is really bad right now, and this is not easy, ladies and gentlemen. See, I knew it. Yeah. So Panzer Dragoon Saga, definitely. I would love for them to bring it back. I think it would make a lot of sense. I think it would do extremely well, and I think it would be a huge success for Sega, just like Monster Hunter was to Capcom, and especially if they do it right. I don't know if they have the money to do it, but maybe do the deal with Microsoft, since it was always been an exclusive to Microsoft, or not necessarily to Microsoft, but since Panzer Dragoon and Crimson Dragon have been basically tied into the Xbox brand, right? Maybe it would be nice for them to bring it back to the Xbox console, since it's basically by association, I guess would be the best way to describe it. Oh my God. Sorry, people, I'm talking. And that would be one of my definite picks. Another one would be bringing out a new Otagi 3, and remastering 1 and 2, perhaps, by From Software. An absolutely amazing an absolute amazing action hack and slash with Raikou, the main character, which he was also a guest appearance character in the RPG Enchanted Arms, which a lot of people may not remember. That was on 360. He was a guest star or a guest character. Do you remember that, Sega4eva? I don't know if you remember that. The Enchanted Arms series. And I think it would help because it's also an Xbox exclusive. Although I don't think From Software owns the property. I don't think they own the IP. But maybe with Microsoft's help, they can reach out and get a deal to acquire the IP and bring it on Xbox as well, because the nostalgia is playing a big role right now with these games. Look at Crash Bandicoot. You know, it had a lot of success. Shadows of the Colossus had a lot of success. I'm pretty sure Spyro is going to go on the same route and have a lot of success. Yeah, I really do.
Spyro the Dragon.
Spyro the Dragon. Yeah, absolutely. So I think if Microsoft plays into that nostalgia, and companies like Konami and Sega, making these well-known, beloved properties like a new Contra or a new Bionic Commando or a new Captain Commando for that matter, I think they won't regret it, in my personal opinion. And I almost feel like, I'm 100% right. I really think that it will bring a lot of audiences that never really played the game back to those IPs, like a new audience. And then, because we can sit here and talk about a lot of stuff. Another property that would be, I think, absolutely amazing to see back would be something like either Clockwork Knight or Mr. Bones. Because I think it would be really appreciated now.
Clockwork Knight.
Yeah, Clockwork Knights. Even a style.
That's a great game. I have it.
There's so many.
I
envy you for having it, because I had 1 and 2, and that was one of my favorite platformers on the Saturn, and I don't have them anymore. Just like I had a style. A style was an amazing game that I wish I still had. And I don't.
I have the first one. I think he bought.
Well, that style is the one with the kid with the red hair, that he's super strong as a 2D platformer, with the 3D rendering artwork. In the background, it's like
I have
3D
that too.
background.
I think it's called Estelle.
Yeah. A style, and I wish they brought it back because of the fact that oh my God, I can't move back. That it would be a great addition. For the generation now too, because it's a platformer, and like I said, nostalgia is playing a big role with a lot of games now that were from back in the day. So my idea, my whole point of view is, if it's worked is working for Sony, why can't it work for anybody else? Which I think it can.
That's right.
So those are some of my personal picks as of right now. I really would like to see those.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Trevor. I'm sorry.
So are we talking? Oh, sorry. So are we talking in terms of what's good for Microsoft too, or?
Yeah, from Microsoft and just also the IPs that are missing. But I'm mentioning Microsoft because a lot of those games I have in my list were Microsoft only exclusives. Right. That's why I'm talking at it as a Microsoft property. Because of that, because they were only Microsoft exclusives. You know what I mean?
Well, because the one game that they need to bring back is Microsoft. I think it would help Microsoft. Is Phantasy Star. They need something like that.
Oh yeah.
I think that'd be.
I think it would also.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Forever.
That was a big game.
Yeah, Phantasy Star, done like with today's generational graphics and power. Oof.
Oh yeah, that would be nice, man.
Oh boy.
Well, the thing that would be good is because we have. I don't know if you guys played State of Decay yet, or Sea of Thieves.
Yeah. Yeah, I played
Yeah.
State of K. I own
Not
one,
enough,
but I
but
have two on
definitely.
Game Pass.
So I noticed that what Microsoft is doing, they're going with a lot of these games that like streamers can come onto and advertise for them, and
Yeah.
that's yeah. So they got like a lot of open world, a lot of playing with your friends and stuff like that. So Fantasy Star Online would fit that bill
Oh
perfectly.
yes, good point. Very good point. Yeah, yeah. Fantasy Star
Yeah,
Online
it was an
would
awesome
fit the
game.
bill perfectly. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And it's
especially
a social
like
game.
from especially. Well, that's why if you look at what Microsoft was talking about, you could just see the direction they're going with their stuff, right? Because it is true. I mean, like State of Decay and Sea of Thieves, they have so much engagement, and so many people are playing it because they're able to put it in Game Pass, right? That's number one. And number two, there's a big support for it in the streaming community because they own Mixer, right? What we're using
Yes.
right now.
Yes.
So
Yeah, they own
for people who
Mixer, yeah.
complain, because people are like, well, why don't they advertise? Well, you kind of don't have to now. They're advertising, but they're doing it in a new way. And if you get a game like Fantasy Star Online, which is open world, your friends can jump in. You can do these big parties and stuff like that. It can be streamed. You get it awesome for them to do.
Right.
That's what I like to see them do. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
if to help them to add to their catalog.
That'd be nice.
Well, I mean, do you agree with me or Sega Man that they should play on the nostalgia also of older, well-known properties from their portfolio, like like Otagi or like a new Conquer or like a new Blinks?
Yeah. Yeah. I think they should, man. Those games are just.
Because my whole thing is, if it's working for Sony with properties that were beloved, I think it'll work for
Yeah.
Microsoft as well. I really do. Like
I
Microsoft.
definitely will work for Microsoft. They're sitting on a
Yeah,
lot of
but,
good IP.
But did you? I
Yeah,
mean,
like Crimson Dragon.
You know that
excuse me.
that interview. That interview you told me to watch on Mixer. I finally
Yes.
watched it last night.
Oh, was
It was an
not
awesome
good or
interview,
what?
but it was. Well, it was kind of bittersweet though. Like he was talking about what IPs, and for Microsoft, on the Microsoft side, I always wanted them to have a Viva Pinata game. Bring Viva Pinata back because I think that game is something that they really need, and because of the online presence for a lot of these games, they could make the game relevant in this day and age, especially with the way
Right.
people buy loot crates and buy all this kind of stuff.
Right, right.
It's not out of the
Out of the
realm of
realm.
possibility.
Yes, right. I
Right,
get you.
but-
I get you completely. Right.
But when Microsoft was talking about it, or when Phil Spencer was talking about it, he gave me the impression, and I have to go back and watch the video, because they mentioned Blinks and they mentioned what was the other game we just said? Dang it, dude, I'm drawing a blank.
Oh, Brute Force. He said, you talking about when he did the interview with Giant Bomb or the one he did with Mixer?
Was that Giant Bomb or Mixer?
Yeah, the one we did with Giant Bomb when he was talking about, no, we're not bringing Brute Force back. No, we're not bringing Blinks. Not Blinks, Brute Force.
That was
one.
yeah, that was.
Yeah,
I
but I
was
think
like,
on
why not?
But I think on Mixer he was talking about
Go ahead.
it's based because I wanted to see Fable Legends is what I really wanted to see at E3, or not Fable Legends, but Fable. I wanted to see a new Fable game, and it gave me the
I just think
impression
it
that a
wasn't
lot of
ready,
these games
to
that
be
we like to
honest.
see are anybody. Yeah, but I think a lot of these games that he's talking about, that we want to see, I don't think he's. I mean, maybe he has a great poker face. I don't know, but and I hope
Well,
I'm wrong.
he did say we weren't going to get backwards competitive, you remember, and that turned out to be a super poker face.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know.
Hey, you
I
know what,
mean,
guys? That what Hebot said earlier about back and Pat and how people making fun of it and stuff. I believe it. I really.
it's their
believe that.
haters.
I really believe
It's the
that.
haters, bro.
Yeah.
It's the haters, because that was the narrative for. I mean, I know, like I said, we've gamed forever. There's like probably 30 plus, 35 years plus gaming between, amongst each of us, 35 plus years each, and that was one of the gripes that every time people have to buy a new console, especially for parents, right? It's like, oh, what about the old games?
yes.
I'm like,
Yeah.
well, you can't play the old games. You have to play the new games. That's always been a talking point. It wasn't until Microsoft decided to do it, then all of a sudden it sucks.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Like the-
Sony
like the-
did it,
like the
but
worst thing
they
Devil May Cry.
kind of abandoned it. But Microsoft did it with 360 too, and had to abandon it. But it was because the coding for the CPUs were very different. You know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I
A
mean
lot
on this
harder.
level, but more so, it should be people should be more happier because it's a possibility, and they're doing
Yeah.
the things that people said were impossible, and
But on
you know
this
which is
level,
very
it's never
consumer
been done.
friendly.
You're right. It's never been done on this level
Yeah,
with the enhancements.
you know that's yeah. Because you know as well as I do, man, that if they ever did backwards compatibility for the PlayStation Pro, right? Is that their new one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The newest PlayStation. It's the Pro. Okay, with the 4K and the resolutions, I know it's not. I know it's not full 4K, but the picture fidelity is better than the other PlayStation,
Yes.
right?
Absolutely. Right.
So you mean to tell me that if they did backwards compatibility and you get some of those old games that we all played, you know, and you got the license to them because their library on the PlayStation and PlayStation 2 is massive.
Yes.
Right. Right.
Because if they ever, it's not called. There's a game called Pocket Fighter that Capcom did, and it was on PlayStation or PlayStation 2. I forgot. It's been a while. But
it
that
was on
game
Saturn
alone,
too, but
if-
only
if-
it came out in America way later, and it was a Japan only thing. But I know
Yeah, I
exactly
have it.
what,
Right,
I know
right.
exactly what
It's a
you're talking about. Yeah, I know
But
exactly
imagine
what
if
That's
you're talking
those
positive.
games like that, those games that they had back then, if that things went backward compatibility, shoot, I might even buy a PlayStation just to
Yes,
play those old
San Siro.
games because they had a lot
about.
of good
Yes,
ones,
Sega Sam.
you know. Because there was a ton of games that they came out with at the time, especially on the RPG front, were just massive and huge. In fact, I had so many PlayStation games. That's the first time I ever had a really bad backlog. And then
Right,
plus
right.
I used to play my Sega games more and play in the arcades more back then, you know. Used to be in all the fighting tournaments and stuff like that. But you mean to tell me that if they didn't do that, that people wouldn't be happy? You know,
Right.
It's you know, Sega Man, like
Yeah.
Sega Man said, dude, it's absolutely bogus. You know, it's just hate. That's all it is. You know.
Oh, yeah. You know, nobody wants to play old games. I like playing old games. Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't want to play old games, but yeah, they did things like Ratchet and Clank remastered and Shadows of the Colossus,
Yeah.
and it sold at least 1 million copies, which proves that yes, that is a false statement. And here goes Microsoft trying. Yeah, I want you. Yeah, welcome to the stream. I think it says Sega to Sam Shiro, number 0. He said, "I want a Dreamcast too." Yeah, man, me, you, and every real Sega fan, not the Sega fans that moved to Sony supposedly and said, "Yeah, we were Xbox, we were Sega fans, but yet we never supported Sega Dreamcast when Shenmue was up, but we want Shenmue 3 on the PS4 now." You know, even though we're all gamers that own
Yeah.
all platforms here, but you know, those from are not the real hardcore Sega fans, and then they know who they are.
Yeah, and you have to be a multi-console owner if you're a Sega fan when they closed, because all
Yeah.
their games are all on every system. And I remember the articles where people were telling them, "Oh yeah, this is the best move for Sega." Of course, I was
Right,
still bitter
right.
about it because
Yeah.
I personally didn't think. The problem I had with them doing that, becoming publisher only, and you saw it like so quickly happen after the Dreamcast, after Sega went after hardware, right? Is you saw that originality of some of their stuff died. The teams were being disbanded. A lot of the people left. You know, that
They
creative
branched
core
off
was
in a
gone.
bunch of
And yeah, so but then you did get games like one of my favorite. I can't wait for Sonic Racing because I get this feel from Sonic Racing, the new one coming out.
Yeah.
And I even got this from the old game. Was F-Zero that Sega did for Nintendo on the GameCube, I believe it was, right?
Yeah,
That-
no, and they
that
did it in
game
the
to this day,
arcade
man. I still,
and on the GameCube.
yeah. And to this day, dude, I still have fond memories of that game. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
how awesome it was. Like,
Oh,
it
yeah.
was because I liked F-Zero, and it was an F-Zero game, but it had that beautiful Sega arcadey touch. You know?
Yes,
to it.
yes.
You know, that reminded me of playing all
color
the
palette,
arcade games, you know, the racer
That,
games.
that sense of scale, even though it's still they were linear.
Yeah.
yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about.
That kind of
When you
that
played
action,
the racing game, the
camera
arcade
angles.
racing games, they feel like you were actually there in a big, grand way and things, and yet they were still
Yeah.
very straightforward and linear because they had the production value. You know, I know exactly what you're
And
talking
one
about.
of the things they had perfectly done, which I didn't understand why they couldn't do this with the Sonic games when Sonic moved to 3D. I mean, I do understand why, but it just used to drive me nuts, is because there's a sense of speed in F-Zero that you feel like you're going super fast, but you still
Even
can
though,
maintain control.
yes, yeah.
It never
Oh,
gets
exactly.
it never gets crazy. Even though like all this stuff, you're hitting the big loops and you're making those massive jumps. You know, they just took they took F-Zero, put on steroids, and the complete package.
They did what they do
And
with everything. They make you be like, damn, I didn't know you could do that in this console with this hardware. They do that with every hardware they touch. They make some of the best
Yeah.
PS2 games that people didn't even touch and know about. You know, with the exception of the regular stuff, you know, like Shinobi or Nightshade, which me
Yeah.
and Sega Man talked about it. But they had something like Blood Bowl Tell that was groundbreaking, that was implementing the thing that they did now with having a partner help you with the kid, which was with that they did with God of War, that everybody's acting like, oh my God, it's amazing, but yet it was implemented
Oh yeah.
way more intuitively. It was implemented way more intuitively on the game back then from Sega, right? In the game Blood Will Tell than,
Yeah.
than it is in God of War. And people are like, yeah, you're crazy. You're just being a hater. I'm like, dude, did you play the game? Have you ever played Blood Will Tell? Because I played Blood Will Tell. I own Blood Will Tell. And I've also played and owned God of War. You see what I'm saying?
What's it called? Blood Motel?
Blood Will Tell. So, but that game, when I played it, it's the same thing like the game Genji. I was like, how the hell is this running on the PS2? It was almost like when you saw God of War and when you saw Devil May Cry for the first time, that you're like, whoa,
Yeah.
how the hell they managed to do this on this game? You know what I mean? On this platform.
Yeah.
And then you saw, later on, like what we're looking at right now. Look at what they did with Panzer Dragoon. With this order.
You know what? I hate this, man. It's one of the reasons why I don't like doing these podcasts. The only reason why is because I feel old. Because I'm forced to. I'm looking at
Yes,
I'm looking
very
at the
beautiful.
cover art. Yeah, I'm looking at the cover art now, and I was like, I don't remember that. Now I'm looking at it, it's like, oh yeah, I had this game.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Well,
This just reminds me how old I am.
But at the same
I
time,
can't remember this stuff.
But at the same time, it makes you feel like a kind of a status quo type thing, because we are the ones that were there. Like we paved the way. It's like you said, we were ostracized. We were considered loco, antisocial, maybe possessed by a devil, but for Christ's sakes, by a demon. For
Ebot.
some religious fashions. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
That
Say
that game, Blood Will Tell, is on Amazon. There's one left for $193.
Yeah, and I own the game. I told you, it's an
One
amazing
left.
game.
That's a lot of money. That's man.
It's an amazing game, dude. I'm telling you, the game it's amazing. Go look at some gameplay. It was so unique,
Yeah.
so stylish. But it's what they managed to do in the game, the graphics, the style. It was like, wow. Like I said, look at
See
this. Look at this Crimson, Panzer Dragoon Orta running on obviously new hardware, but with a 4K treatment.
Yeah.
And this was back in an OG Xbox, a console that's over 20 or 15 years old,
Yeah.
And look what they managed to do back then. So, when people try to say, oh, yeah, that Naughty Dogs are the king of the crops, or people like, don't get me
Right.
wrong, I'm not hating on these guys because they're great developers for what they do, absolutely. But when people say that, I'm like, do you realize that Sega did almost 12 games in a year and a half span with 4 or 5 studios that they own, and they were all high quality? Look at Gun Valkyrie, House of the Dead 4. You see
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
I have that. Gun
I
Valkyrie
have
is
it
a good
also.
game.
You know what I mean? Like, you guys
Yeah,
don't
Gun Valkyrie is an
understand.
awesome game.
They think that this is like what we're kind of almost to the point, like, shout outs to Master Chief, where we so experienced that we're almost jaded. So for us to get impressed, you really got to do something that's over the top, that we really like, whoa, what's that? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because these guys think that what they're seeing now being done, they don't realize that the main reason for it is because the console capability, because of the hardware. But they don't realize what we saw get done was being done by sheer artsmanship, craft, and talent. They learned to do so many crazy techniques and things that when you looked at it, you're like, what in God's name? You couldn't believe your eyes. I mean, it got to the point where the consoles at home with the Dreamcast was better than the arcade, which we thought we never saw that we would never see that. We thought we would never see that, and yet we did. Remember, you know. So that's why I tell people, it's like, dude, you just be grateful for what you have, because you have no idea, you know. So when they tell me things like that, oh yeah, you know, you just hating. No, man, we're not hating. Is that we know what quality is and what can be done, because we've seen it done with less money, less resources, less power, and really real creative talent. You know what I mean? And again, not to say that those guys now, like Naughty Dog or the team at at Coalition, for example, that they're not talented, because they are, obviously. But it takes a lot to impress, because the truth of the matter is, you know, we've seen quality games for many years coming from Sega, Konami, Capcom, Sunsoft, Data East for many years. Not just in the arcade, but also in consoles and homes, you know?
Oh my gosh, Sunsoft Data East, dude, you're going way back.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the game Two Crude Dudes. I have that. It's a good game.
Yeah, the beat 'em up.
Remember that? Two Crude Dudes? Yeah.
Yep.
Hey guys, let me ask you a question. So now that the E3 and Microsoft, apparently I thought, do you think these people, the trolls and all that, will calm down, or you think they'll just try to find something else to down them about, man?
Oh, they'll find something else. They'll definitely find something else, because they were already trying to say, well, why didn't they just build studios instead of buying studios? I was like, well, if you look at the studios that they bought, first and foremost, there were little studios that were in the brink of probably being bankrupt, okay? Because they saw the vision, and they saw, imagine what these guys can do if they had the backing and the right money and the right manpower, like in the case of Ninja Theory, right? And Compulsion Games, okay? Obviously, Playground Games is because they came out of nowhere and proved that they could play with the big boys with the Horizon series. The Forza Horizon series just took things to a level where you can't even really talk about, because it's just nobody else has done it. Nobody else has done it, and that's a fact. And obviously,
I already got that pre-ordered.
Right. They did a new studio that they said they want to make 4 AAA, quadruple AAA games, meaning like even beyond what we get now, like really top notch, I guess, meaning movie actors all the time, voice acting, and the mocap to the highest extent, whatever the case may be. That's what it sounded like to me when I heard that. So the commitment is there. And then I go back and tell people, but let's go back and let's not forget that Guerrilla Games, Sucker Punch, Naughty Dog, Mercury Steam, Quantic Dreams were never made by Sony. They were all acquired or done like special, like exclusive deals by Sony, and were acquired after their existence. They existed already. They weren't built by Sony like Polyphony or like Sony Japan. And these people try to act like, oh, yes, they did. I'm like, no, they did not. You're absolutely wrong.
Or Insomniac.
Yeah. Somebody asked a question on Twitter yesterday about should Microsoft buy Insomniac? And a lot of people say, yeah, of course they should, as long as they're gonna give them their creative freedom. I said, well, we don't have to question that, because look at the video diary that they did with Ninja Theory. They were very clear how Microsoft approached them, and they said that the first thing they said, well, we want to keep our creative freedom. That's been our staple for our studios for since our creation, or since our inception, if you will, right? And Microsoft said, yeah, of course we can. That's fine. They said, of course we'll give you creative freedom. Why not?
Hey, they were really salty about them buying Ninja Theory, man. They were really salty about that.
And I don't know
Yeah,
why.
they're salty about everything.
I don't. I don't know why, because that
I
means
don't
they
know
gave
why
them,
they would go
they
with
gave them
them.
protection, and they will last forever. Because if Sony would have bought them, then forget it. They would have said, Sony's amazing. They care. They just care about the gaming industry more than anybody else. But since it's Microsoft,
Yeah.
they're like, oh, they just bought them because they're trying to play the power trip because they have money and they know they can just buy all these studios. I was like, why don't you think the same way when it was Sony, when they had all that money back in the 90s and late 80s? How you think they overtook
Yeah.
Nintendo and Sega? They power tripped their way in there. A lot of their games from their
They did.
platforms were just multiplats. They weren't. They were exclusive multiplats. I mean, exclusive third parties. They weren't first party games. And a lot of people seem to have amnesia when you tell them that. Or weren't there and didn't know. So they think that we're stupid and we don't know nothing. I'm like, listen, buddy, if you don't know what you're talking about, just don't say anything at all. You know?
Yeah.
So it is what it is. But yeah, you know, so I think it's great. I think it's great that they bought the studios. I think it shows that commitment. But I think the nostalgia factor, they're trying to play into it and see and test their waters because they had success with Killzone. I mean Killer Instincts, right? And I
Yeah.
think they're gonna definitely have success with that Battletoads because out of all the things they announced, to be honest with you, if you go back and listen to the conference, Battletoads got probably one of the highest receptions from the audience.
I'm glad they're bringing that back, man, because that's a great game. Battletoads.
Oh yeah, man! I bought the rare replay day one just to get that Battletoads arcade that was never released before. I was like,
Yeah.
wait a second, I gotta get this. It's never been in console, you know. So
That's an
they're like-
arcade version, right?
yeah, the arcade version, and it has the Nintendo. And
That's
NES version
awesome.
there, too. And they're like, well, why you
I
didn't
love
bring
that
it?
game.
Why you not bring? Why you excited over an arcade game? I said, because it's never been made before. What do you mean? Why? I was like, see, that's why you don't understand because you weren't there. You don't know. You know, so
Yeah. Then you hear people say after, not going to name who this person was, but he's on a podcast saying, well, I just want to see them bring a new IP. I don't care about this. I don't care about that. I'm like, man, they showed all these beautiful games and what they're doing. You just
right. Yeah,
he keeps damage controlling. I think you know what I'm
Who?
talking about. I mean, he just
Oh yeah.
you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
on
we
a
don't-
podcast saying, "Oh well, I just want to see one new IP. I didn't see one." I'm like, man, you just keep damage controlling all the time.
Well, looking
You know
for
what I mean?
something to complain about. Right.
Yeah.
But instead of understanding that stuff is all going to take time, because that's why they bought and did the acquisition of the new studios. That's exactly why they did it.
Yeah.
You know, that was the whole reasoning for it, because they want to build new IPs as well, and new experiences. Even though that Crackdown blew my mind, I was like, wow, how
Yeah.
much better
Yeah.
it looked, and I was happy because you know how people were kind of fending it off, saying, it's not going to be great, and then I looked at it and I was like, wow, that looks impressive. It looks fantastic, you know. So for me, I think it's going to be a fantastic game with a lot of quality. I think we're in for a big treat, to be honest.
And that
So, you
guy
know-
looks just like Terry Crews too.
Yeah, it is Terry Crews. Yeah. Oh, you mean
Yeah.
the capture, and it still maintained the essence of Crackdown too. On top of that, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's great. That's great. I'm very psyched for it. I'm psyched for it. Honestly, I'm very psyched for it. I'm very psyched for it. So, guys, look. Anything else that you guys may want to add, so we can close it out? We've been going for 104 minutes. I hope that it
Yeah.
came in and out pretty well, because the truth of the matter is, this topic for the podcast. Yeah. You're right. The Sega 2 cents and Shiro said, the people killed the best corporations of games, and he's right. I guess he's implying or trying to say, you know, by us not supporting great games, you know, just because we're just playing what's popular instead of playing, everything that brings quality to the mix. I agree with you. I agree
Yes.
with you. I think that's what he's
I
saying.
agree.
And if I'm wrong, I'm so sorry. I don't mean to disrespect your comment in any way, shape, or form. But I think that's what you mean to say, and I agree with you. I think you're right, 100%. So, guys, if you want to add anything else on, that you might have thought of other games that you might have talked about, or games that you weren't happy with that came out that were sold like a remaster, like Deadpool, for example, even though it was really a port. Now's the time. If not, just everybody will take it one by one to say where you can find us, and we'll do our outros, and hopefully
right.
we can continue to do this again. I'm so happy to have been the premier audience with Sega4eva. Obviously, I'm pretty sure he feels the same way I do, to have premiered Sega Man for the first time on his very first live stream podcast.
Yeah. Thank you, man.
It's
Thank
been an
you.
absolute pleasure.
Yeah,
It's been
definitely.
an honor
Appreciate it, man.
to have you on, and I hope this is the beginning of many that we can continue to share. Because
Yeah,
we're gonna
let's
keep
do it again,
bothering
man.
you. I'm gonna tell you right now, we're gonna keep bothering you. We're gonna keep inviting you because you have to be heard.
I'll be there.
And we want you there. We really do want you there. We're big fans, and I guarantee you there's more people out there that are big fans of yours that haven't been able to find the, kind of what you would call a place where they can have easier access to you, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I
Which
think
I
this
hope-
was a good podcast, man.
No, it was for sure. Which I hope we can help you with that. Not because you need it, because it's not that you don't do good work. It's just because we've been around other people that are probably a little bit better known, so we got more exposure at this point. And with that exposure, we're gonna pay it forward to you, so that you can be now looked at, because you've been on the scene longer than us. And I think it's a damn shame that you have not been shown that love that I know for a fact you deserve.
I'm glad you reached out to me, Hebon. I really appreciate that, man.
No, the pleasure and the honor was all mine. I'm glad I did
You
too.
and
Yeah,
Sega4eva. Yeah,
no,
man.
for sure.
Yeah,
Like I said,
man.
this is gonna be
Very
one
happy
of many.
about that, man.
Yeah, no, but you said when I saw all the props you kept giving us, and saying how great guys were, I knew you were the right person and a perfect example of some person, a gamer that needs to be out and about more in the community, speaking his mind and his voice and sharing his intelligence, because you have a lot of knowledge like we do, man. And a lot of people that are out there that are in a way better position than we're in don't even come close to what you know and have to offer. And that's a fact. Take it as you will, they can take it how they will. It's not a personal attack or that I'm slandering anybody, because we don't mention names ever. It's just a fact. I've seen it with my own eyes. They'll say all kinds of things that I'll be like, what in God's name are you talking about? Where you get your information from? So, again, thank you for joining us. Please let the audience know where you could be found.
All right, man. Thanks again, guys, for inviting me to this podcast. I'm very appreciative of it. I hope we can do more. It'd be great. It'd be awesome. You can find me on YouTube at my channel is segaman 101. And yeah, guys, thanks a lot, man. And this was a great first podcast.
Yeah,
with you,
absolutely.
With you, Hebot and Sega4eva, man. You guys do some great work, man. Especially when you guys are doing that with the podcast with 100 and them. Y'all are crazy, man. those guys are crazy, man.
But
they're
but
funny.
you know what? You know what, Sega?
I love them guys.
To be honest with you, those guys may seem to give off like they're crazy, but each and every one of those guys, number one, they're real gamers. Real gamers. They play games.
Kaleidoscope.
Number two,
Mr. 100.
Kaleidoscope, J-Lo,
Yeah.
Mr. 100. Now we have an addition with Flip. Sometimes we have Tuckmaster, E-Rock, and of course me and Sega Forever. They're real gamers.
Yeah.
They have a lot of passion for games, and they don't go around, talking rhetoric, being ignorant. They try to talk games. They do content that talks about games, and they don't get a
Yes.
lot of love either. A lot of them guys, they're like
Yes.
us. They got low subscribers, low views, but the ones that go to them are respect them because they're real gamers and they love what they do. So big shout outs to them. The Microbots guys from down in the UK. Thank you for joining us, Microbox of X. It's been a pleasure having you join us in this, in the chat.
Yeah.
Thank you for the Sega
Thanks a lot, Microbox.
it's to Sega the San Shinshiro for joining us as well. He had said a great point talking about guys who buy PS2s bought it for the DVD player, which you're 100% right, because that was the first thing he would say.
They did.
Oh, it has a DVD
They
player.
did.
What are you talking about? I
Yeah.
remember that. He has a very, very valid point.
Yeah.
So thank you for stopping by, Sega Shinshiro. I hope you can join us again when you see us on, because I believe you're a Sega fan from what I saw in your comments. And whoever sees this later on, when it's posted up on my channel and on Sega Forever's, please, 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 I can't stress enough that you guys go and check out Segaman's channel. Please go check him out.
Thank you.
Because
you.
he's a wonderful, wonderful presence in the community. Because he does a lot of cool retro play. He does retro gameplays of old school stuff. Yeah, they look, they look like what they're supposed to be. Hardcore and realistic. He does it right off his phone, right onto his TV. And I think that's the charming part about it. It's very, very charming.
Yeah.
And very effective, because it just shows that, he's the real deal. He's playing these games in his house in real time, right out of his own TV. And I love that. I really can appreciate that. So Sega Man, thank you again for joining us. I hope you'll come on every time we invite you. Every time we invite you,
I will.
I hope you find a newfound friendship in me and Sega
Thanks,
Forever.
brother.
And that you
Yes.
realize that our
100%.
friendship that we're extending to you is a real friendship. We're offering you a real friendship, not a hypocrite friendship. Now, Sega Forever, I know you like to not talk too much, but you are a savage. So I want you to tell the audience where we can find you and where you can be reached, and talk and don't hold back. Don't try to be coy, because we all know that you are nothing to play with, and you're a monster deep down inside, and just waiting to be unleashed. Real quick, Microbox of X said he will definitely be checking out your channel, Sega Man, because he had no clue. I think.
Thank you, man.
Of your channel.
Thank you, Microbox.
He said he really enjoyed you,
Yeah.
and he said he's gonna check it out in the morning after he gets some shut eye. He said I will definitely check out Sega
Thank you,
Man's
Microbox of
channel
X. Really appreciate
in the
it, brother.
morning. Yeah.
Thanks
for
a lot,
sure,
my
for
man.
sure. Yeah.
Awesome.
So that's that's a new viewer, and I'm pretty sure a new subscriber, and he has a lot of people that follow him. So when we do the cast for the Micropods, like we did the Undead Lab, interview, we're gonna shout your channel out and see if we can bring some new subscribers to you as well. Okay, with all due respect.
Hey, Ebot, that was a good interview, man. That was a good interview
thank you,
with
thank
them,
you.
man.
It was fantastic. We killed it. We killed it. It was just a shame we couldn't do it with other people, and that's what we plan to do, and add more people to come and visit and join us as well. So anyway, Sega Forever, please, if you'll be so gracious, where can we find you?
Yeah, you can check me out on YouTube, Xbox All In channel, also on Sega Forever on Twitter and Facebook, with the usual suspects. Always hanging out with those guys. But yeah, this was fun, man. Sega Man, dude, love your channel.
Thank you, bro.
Definitely need to get you out there, bro. I mean, you have good videos, good content,
Thanks,
amazing
man.
collection. And I know we talk
collection.
about the actual, the actual fandom of it all, but I really can appreciate the experience that you have in
Thanks.
gaming, because you've been doing it for such a long time, and You can't teach that. You can't learn that. You know,
Yes.
it's
Right.
something
You
that's earned
cannot
from the
teach
arcades
that.
to the old school stuff.
That's
That's
right,
the
man.
real deal.
You just can't.
You can't.
Yep. That's how it is.
Absolutely.
That's how we kind of roll. That's how me and Heba kind of roll, and
Yeah.
that's why we hang out with the people we do, and that's why we play the games that we play, and that's why we support the systems that we do. So yeah,
Yes.
man. So it has been a pleasure being with you. Definitely, if we do any more, man. I mean, if anytime
Yeah,
you
we
want to jump on,
yeah.
just let us know.
Hey, Heba, just let me know, man. Then, we do
Oh,
another one. I'll be there,
I
bro.
told you, you found a new stalker and a fan. I'm not letting you go, buddy. Sorry. You're not getting off that easy. Not around us. Yeah. No, I
Hey,
mean, I'd say that.
hey.
I say that with all kindness in my heart and jokingly. But yeah, no, for sure. We want to keep, having you engage with us in in this journey that basically connects us, because we have one thing in common, is that we all love gaming,
Yeah.
Now that we have two things in common. We're old school root gamers. So
Yeah.
that makes it even better. It's like the cherry on top.
Hey,
sure.
Heba.
Yeah.
Um,
You and Sega4eva, man. You know what? That crossplay thing is actually made news on. It's on Fox News. Nintendo dude Reggie's talking about the problems with Sony. Crossplay
Really?
problems.
Are you
Yeah, it's
serious?
on YouTube.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know why, and you know why that's so, because it's Fortnite. If this was
Yeah,
Halo, if they did Minecraft, there was other games out there, but Fortnite is huge, man.
Yeah,
real
right
deal,
now
and
Fortnite is like the especially with the teenagers. That's another thing, and it's something positive. It's a game that's not really designed to have like violence in like realistic way. It's more about in a cartoony style, so it's more acceptable.
Well,
I
there's
guess, the
a-
acceptance of it.
Well,
Go ahead.
there's an appeal to the general population, and we all three of us know how that goes. In fact, Segata made a reference to it with the PlayStation 2 and people buying it for DVDs.
That's right.
Once
Yeah.
you get that popular, I talked about this a little bit. This is where you get the live by the sword, die by the sword thing. PlayStation,
Right.
the new PlayStation has been pushing the sales. It's being bought by. I could say within my own family, my nieces and nephews who play, most of them and their friends mostly have PlayStations.
Yeah.
Right.
So they took the lead on that. The negative thing, which is the 360 found out, or Microsoft found out about the 360 when they launched the Xbox One, is that is a very fickle fan base. In fact, that's not a fan base. It's
Thank you, Face. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
this is very fickle. So what ends up happening is you're not allowing crossplay, and I can tell you
Like
this
Arena's
because
done?
my son just went through it. My son just went through this where he wanted to connect his account through Origin, and there's a way to do it. He just didn't know how. But what a lot of people are figuring out is if they bought it on a certain system and now they want to cross it over and they can't, and they're wondering why.
Right.
And then this parent, because parents, and what it goes like, oh, it's probably a conversation like this, like, oh man, I can't. They'll go to their dad and says, oh dad, did you see that Xbox is on sale? And the dad probably turns around and, why do you need an Xbox? I bought you a PlayStation 4, right?
Yeah.
And then he goes, oh, because I can't. If I get an Xbox or a Wii, I can't play. If my friends have that, I can't cross over and play, right?
Yeah.
That's probably how
Yeah.
the conversation goes, a little something like that. And then the parents was like, well, you're not getting this. And then this just happens in a couple incidents. Then it starts to build momentum. Then it starts to get bigger. If the gaming media at
Well, it's
E3 is
about time
covering
that
this.
they called them out. It's a fact. It's about time.
Well, they have no
Yes.
choice, dude. They have no choice. It's the same thing with Microsoft. People are like, oh, they're finally coming around to Microsoft. They have no choice but to come around. Microsoft put out a 4K most powerful system. And when they looked at Forza Horizon playing, or the newest Forza game, and some of these games
Yeah.
that Microsoft have, playing on a 4K TV, I have a cheap one that I talk about on my channel, that even people that see that, it's the real deal. So Microsoft forced them. Don't get it twisted for all you guys out there that think
Right.
he's really coming around.
They're trying to come around because they see Microsoft is doing things different. No, well, they have the most powerful
Right.
console. They want to showcase
Because
their
they-
games in the best version. Yeah.
Because they're
Yeah.
all clickbaity, and they service their audience. It's not just about the PlayStation guys. They're also servicing the people that look at stuff and are just going to click on their thing. And when that boomerang comes back around, watch out. That's why I'm loving
Yeah.
it. I love every. I was watching that. I was like, yep, that's what happens when. That's
It's
why I
making
wrote.
news,
Tweeted,
man. Wow.
yeah, well, I tweeted that to Tim Dog. I think it was Tim Dog. I tweeted it too. I was like, I don't. You make your bed, you sleep in it, dude. How many times have they done this to you
Like
guys?
you said, you live
and
by
you
a
guys
sword,
are
you die by
silent.
a sword. Yeah.
You live by the sword,
Yeah.
you die by the sword. So there you go.
Mhm.
Good luck with
And,
that. I'll be
real
playing.
quick,
I'll be playing
guys.
State of Decay.
Real quick, big shout outs to Ricardo Vasquez, aka the Phase 10114, because what happened is he was supposed to join us too. He's a retro like us, and he's part of the Facebook group that we're in. Sega Man, that I told you about the interim oh my God, the Infinite Rooms of the DX Mansion with our boy Dorian Bumpus, which is also a retro
Yep,
guy.
Dorian.
Awesome guys,
Yep.
fantastic dudes. And so he was supposed to join us, but I guess he couldn't make it. And he gave us a big shout out, and he said, "Love the stream, guys. It was fantastic." So that's another person.
Nice,
I'm pretty
nice.
sure he's gonna follow you as well, because he said he enjoyed
Nice.
what you doing, what you did here.
All right.
So I want to
Thank
give him
you,
a
brother.
quick shout out. We're coming to the end of the stream, so Sega Forever, thank you so much for letting me be so privileged to host the show, our show, because you made that very clear a long time ago. It's just I'm not able
Yeah, no
to
problems,
always.
man.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just not always able to join Sega Forever in the show because he's in Hawaii and I'm in New Jersey. So it's
Yes.
very difficult because of the time differences. It's a 6 different time span. But I'm glad when I'm able to do it because he's like my brother that I never had, and he treats me with kindness and a lot of respect. And I've always enjoyed doing things with him because we just mesh very well. We have a lot of good chemistry and a lot of good things in common. Same thing. Like I feel it's gonna pan out with what you did with Sega Man, and the same way that we did with Microbots and those guys over there. So thank you again for letting me host and trusting in me.
Yeah, sorry, no problem.
And for me, you can find me on my channel, Hebot8. On Xbox, it's Hebot8. On YouTube, it's Hebot. Capital H, capital B, lowercase, everything else. A space between the H and the the space between the E and the B. Sorry. And then on Twitter, I'm Hebot, Powerful Gamer. And then I'm in the intromediagaming.com, of course. You can find me there on the Facebook group and on the website with my family, Mr. 100 and them. And on Facebook also with the group, and then with the Infinite Rooms of the DX Mansion on Facebook as well. And then, of course, last but surely not least, with my brothers Kaleidoscope, Ghost Rider 730, J Long, E-Rock, Mr. 100, Flip Money, Sega Forever, in the DirectX, minus the.
Gotta get E-Rock on there, man.
So, yeah. He's on. E-Rock is an amazing human being. Yeah, like I said, like Sega Forever said, we roll with good people, man. That's what we that's our kind of our mantra. That's the only people we roll with, good people. And it's worked out for us so far. It's worked out for us so far. We have good sense of character. So when we feel somebody's a good asset and is going to bring a lot to the table and needs to be heard, that's what we do. Especially me. I'm not afraid to reach out and talk to people because, I'm just a very outgoing person. As you can see, I don't know how to shut the hell up. But yeah, guys, I did a nice little big shout outs to Supersonic Station. He had me on his channel last night for almost 3 hours. We did a podcast about He-Man, all things He-Man, from toys, movies to cartoons, to vintage, to classics, to 2000X. Please go check him out, and subscribe to him too, because he's a really funny dude. He's the guy who does the voice of Yoshida on MNC in the morning. For those who may not know, he's an amazing fellow, big heart, loves gaming. He loves PlayStation, loves Xbox, but it's Xbox, I guess, his preferred platform. But good guy. Like I said, good guy overall, no matter what. Go check it out and support him, and see if you enjoy what I did there with him, because we plan to do other stuff He-Man related, because he don't have a lot of friends just like me that like He-Man. Guys, it's been absolutely incredible. It's been an absolute pleasure. It's been amazing. I love you guys. Thank you for joining, and we are going to sign out because you know,
All right.
that's the way it is. Let me end the broadcast, and with that we say adios, vaya con Dios, and Xbox for life, like a sickness that can't be cured.
Peace.
Just like Xbox Addict for life. Take care, guys.